What is up, guys? Today we're doing a very nice UI in our Android application. This, I don't know whether I should call it in-app keyboard. Yeah, I think that's a feature, in-app keyboard. And this feature is being used in all these big apps that I actually know, such as Paxful, Facebook, Cash App, EcoBank app, and basically all the corporate banking applications that we actually know of. And it makes the UI actually stand out. And bear with me, the UI for the Android keyboard API, it's actually very disgusting in terms of UI. So designing yours to incorporate with your UI in your application, it's a very key factor in your UI design. So let's jump right into it. So first of all, we'll be using Materialio. So go ahead and add your library to your Android project and just jump straight to the XML as well. So what we'll be doing here firstly is to define our text input layouts and our text input edit text too as well. So without much ado, I actually don't want to waste so much time on the UI because you might also want to redesign your UI to fit the criteria which you want to use this feature for. So I just copy and paste this simple one, which is just a text input layout and then a text input edit text. So what the key things you have to change over here to make it reflect in this UI, I think it's 2 or 3 of them you have to do. So first of all, let's run this up and see where we are. So I show you the changes which I'm actually talking about. Wow, this is crashing. Okay, it crashes because I've not changed the style to material.io. That's the parent, right? The style parent. Material.io. Theme material. I like using daylight, no action bar. So let's run it this time and let's see how it is. So basically this what actually shows. Actually, I was supposed to change I actually made a mistake. The style over here should rather have gone on top over here. So let's run it again and see. No, this will crash. So let's run it again and so keynote. So as I was saying, you realize there's this blue line, which is like the stroke box of the text input layouts and this cursor that actually shows to as well. So we want to eliminate those two from the UI to make it look very distinct to as well. So what you need to do over here, first of all, tackling the box, should I say the stroke box? I don't know whether that's what it's called. Let's tackle that. So first of all, that one you need to set in the text input layout. You need to set there's an attribute called box background mode. You can set that to none, which will get rid of the background too as well, which is a stroke. And with the cursor too as well, you can also set, there's also an attribute in the text input edit text called cursor visible. You can also set that to false. So let's run it again and yeah, so you won't see anything at this moment. So it's gone, like it's actually gone. The box stroke or the box component of the text input layout is gone, and then the cursor is also gone. You realize when I click on the text input, the keyboard actually comes. So what we need to do next is also setting up the codes in order to get rid of the keypad when it is clicked, right? So with that, you need to go to the main activity and just add some simple lines of code. So let's go. So over here, if the build version, build, I'm a lazy typer waiting for autocomplete, which is not working. Okay, build dot, sorry, let's import this build dot version dot, if the SDK, right, is greater or equal to 21, what I want to do is the ID for this text input text is this one. I'll copy it and paste it over. We go show soft. Let's import this too as well. Soft on focus, we do that false. Also else if the build version dot SDK is also greater than or equal to 11, what we do is edit text dot set raw input type to be input type, input type dot type class text, and also we do the ID dot set text is selected or is selectable, to true, and else that is for any other build version. We do the ID of the text edit dot set raw input type. We say input type dot type now, and edit text dot is focusable to true. So let's run this up. Yeah, so when you click, I think I'm clicking it well. When we click, the keypad is not showing. So yeah, that's what we actually want in our application. So let's go to the UI and go and design the keypad which is going to be used, which is the key letters. That is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 too as well. So let's go and design that. So I don't want to waste much time with the design. So what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste some codes which I actually did. Font family, I've not added my font family, so I'll add my fonts real quick into my application. Go ahead and design the individual numeric characters which we are going to use in our keypad. So without much ado, I don't want to waste so much time with the UI because I know you might design your own UI to suit your user experience design which you're actually following. So I would just copy and paste my codes which I actually have to not actually waste a lot of time. So if you want my UI to as well, if you want it to be circle, what I normally do is I use card material card view, right? So there's a material card view, and then I set the card corner radius to 30, then the elevation to 10 dp. So this will just give it that shadow effect, and then basically I'll set my text, and then the font family, which is your font you want to use, and I set the gravity to be center, right? Which is, it's basically the same thing which is going to be used throughout. Yeah, so this is how it's going to be when you're done. We need to add with a text. Let's add the back picture into the ramble, and let's load it. Sorry. Yeah, so this will just give you the UI picture actually there with your text, with your edit text layout over here, and there's this small text. If you want it to be in your application, you can actually do that. So that moves on top before this over here. So this will show the text on top, right? So this is going to be the UI page you would actually design, but the UI is not really the problem. It's the codes which actually link to the UI. So let's move into that and finish it up. So what we do here, of course, is to implement on click listener, in our class. Implement view dot on click listener. Let's implement some classes, some functions over here too as well. So first of all, what we want to do is specify the buttons which we are going to use. We have button 1, then just set on click listener and pass in this, so that we would be able to use it in, sorry, I've made a mistake, not long press, but on click listener. Let's override that one and delete this one here real quick. So button dot set on click listener and passing this. So whatever, so when you click, you will define the function over here for your codes to actually run. So we basically do this for all the buttons you have. So I have up to 7 with the delete button or the back button too as well. So just copy and paste my code without wasting a lot of time. And over here, what I decided to do is you define a space array, right? So let's go on top and define it over here. So private val, actually let's make a private val key values to be space, then it's pass array of type string as well. And then we also define a string builder, which would help us to get the string in the text edit when we are done by clicking the OK to as well. So we define this two real quick, and we say key values dot put. We define the ID r.id, r.id, id dot button 1. Okay, let's start with button 0. Then we pass in the value for the 0. Do the same thing for the button 1. Set this to 1. So we do this for all the values you have in your keypad. So straight from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 9, 0 to 9 to as well. And we'll now come and handle the delete button, which is this one, right? So when you click on the delete button, what you want to do is the last character in the string, you want to delete that too as well. So that's what we are going to do over here. So we set on click listener delete, on click listener on the delete, on click listener. Then let's create a variable called length to track the length of type integer. So the ID of the edit text was edit text dot, then we get the text, right, dot length. And so we make Android clean this for us. Then 0. So if there's no value inside, we set that value to 0, else it should be the length of the characters in the edit text, right? So if that length, right, is greater than 0, right, we delete that text dot delete, right? So we get the length of the characters -1, because it's basically starting from 0, right? Then length 2 as well. So this would help us to delete the last character, and we want to delete the last character in the string using our string builder. We want to delete that last character too as well. So we set that to code. The name of the string builder was code, or the variable was called code dot delete char at, then the length -1, right? Length -1. So always delete the last item if this is clicked, right? Then we will now come and get the individual values of the keypad when each pad is actually clicked on. So we define value, a variable called value of type string, passing the keypads, which is from the sparse array dot get v, which is the view dot id. So let's add a value associated to the id of the keypad. So if it's button 0, the value over there is 0. If it's button 1, the value is 1, and so on. So this will give us the value that is more than 6, right? So 6 characters. Then what we do is we'll code.append the value, right? So we are basically building the string. So if it's 1, right, that 1 value comes over here, and we'll append it to the string builder. So if it's 1, it will be appended to the string builder. If you click 2, it will be appended to the 1, so it becomes 1, 2. If you click on 3 for the next character, it will be appended to the string, which will become 1, 2, 3. I'm sure you guys are familiar with string builders, right? And then we update the UI, which is the string which has been set. So we do set text, and then we pass in the code, so which will show in the edit text UI, sorry, in material design, which is called edit text. I think it's called edit text. It's edit text edit input text. Yeah, edit input text. What edit text input edit text? Oh, how can I keep all this? How can I keep all this in my mind? So we do else. We just basically display a toast, right? I'm sure most of you are familiar with toast. Say exceed pin and do toast dot length shots, then we just show. Yeah, so basically this all that you need to do in order to make your in-app UI feature. This took me a lot of time to actually come about. There was this code I saw in Stackoverflow which helped me way around it. I tried following it 100%, but I didn't work in my UI. So I try as much as possible to find ways and means around it. I mean, that's the beauty of coding, right? Yeah, so basically this is how your application will show. So when you click this when it's more than 6 with the edit pane shows, you can go back and add more text if you do a mistake. Yeah, so this is how your UI is going to be like. And you realize the password is not, how shall we say this, the high password is not actually showing. That's because I forgot to set that in my app, which I'm pretty sure I have to do it in the input edit text. So I needed to set the input type to be text password, and also for the logo to show by rates or the icon, you need to, in the text input layout, you need to add edit end icon mode, right? Then set the password to, I'm sure most of you are familiar with this, so which you just show like this. So you can just run the application again and see your in-app keyboard. So this basically this, what I actually did over here was to incorporate it in an activity. You can do it in a fragment, yeah, in an activity, and it will actually work very fine. So yeah, this is how it will show. You can add, you can increase the size of the text, which actually shows in the edit text over here. So I did mine 50. So the height has to be 50, and then the height has to be 90. The text size shouldn't be greater than the height of the text input layout. Otherwise, you know that's going to create confusion for you. And also, since we set the maximum characters to be 6 in our application, we have to also set the maximum length in the text input edit to be also 6, right? And then let's just center the text to as well to text start. Sorry, you rather put it on the left hand side to rather start, not to set it. You can actually put it in the center if you want. It's actually made the UI look not organized to some extent, so I just decided to put it on the start. So let's run it and see how it is. So now, yeah, the count is very big. You can since that was a mistake I was doing. This thing is very big. The size of the height of the input text is very small. So we can do that maybe 120. Yeah, so it actually spans very well to see what you're actually doing. So this code will be available in my GitHub in the link below, and also the Stackoverflow article that also helped me. I would also put that in the description below. Yeah, so thank you for you guys. And also I actually forgot to set a listener for this. Okay, but basically I know that's a fundamental in Android UI, which yeah, I know how to do it. So you can just play around this as well and hide it and show it. So if you get the maximum of 6, the toast edit pin will show for you, then you can do what you want. Okay, subscribe, like this video for more. Adios.